Equations with brackets. That will be the topic of today's lesson. So our learning goal for today is that by the end of the lesson we'll be able to solve algebraic equations that contain brackets. So remember, when we're expanding brackets, we use the distributive law. So for instance, the distributive law, if we have A, B plus C, it means this A gets multiplied by all the terms inside the brackets. So it becomes AB plus B. Nope, that's not what it becomes. Let's just rub that out. If I have A brackets B plus C, as I said, the distributive law, it gets multiplied by everything inside the bracket. So it's A times B, which is AB, plus A times C, which is AC. If we had another example, so if we had, for instance, 2x outside the brackets and we had 5x plus y, the 2x would be multiplied by everything inside the brackets. So 2x times 5x, or 2 times 5 is 10, and x times x is x squared, plus 2x times y is 2xy. So that's our distributive law. So we've already done a video on that. This is just jogging your memory. Another example is terms. So remember, like terms are the terms that contain the exact same variables to the exact same powers, and we can actually add or subtract variables if they are like terms. Okay, so for instance, if we have 2x plus 3y take 7x plus 4y, we can look for like terms. Oh, actually, let's just add another one at the end. Let's say plus x squared. Okay, so we can look for like terms. So we'll start off with the 2x. So anything that's got the variable x to the power of 1 will be a like term. So for instance, we've got this take 7x, and we have x squared here, but that's not actually a like term because it's raised to the power of 2, which is a different power to the other. So that's a different term. So another one we have might be the 3y. And over here we've got the plus 4y. They're like terms, they've got the same variable y and it's raised to the same power. And our last one is the x squared all by itself. So when you're simplifying, remember, you'd rewrite it and you move the sign with the symbol. So for instance, you take that subtraction sign in front of the 7x and move it with the 7x. Plus 3y plus 4y plus x squared. So 2x takes 7x will give us negative 5x plus 7y plus x squared. And we would keep our equal signs as we work down the page. So remember, that's just jogging your memory on adding and subtracting like terms, because you'll need that for this video. Okay, so we've got some equations here, and we're going to try and solve for our unknown to find out the value of the unknown. So when they have brackets like this, what we do to solve them is we first expand the brackets and then we can collect like terms. So for instance, with A, I'll just rewrite it here actually. So we've got 2 outside our brackets, and then inside our brackets I've got 4u plus 2 equals 52. So using our distributive law, we know we can expand these brackets. So 2 times 4u is going to give us 8u plus 2 times 2 is 4 equals 52. Actually, we don't need this equal sign here, so don't actually write that. And then we can continue to solve this. So from there, we can use our onion method to work out our value for u. So we want to find u, what's happened to u, it's been multiplied by 8, and then it had 4 added. So then we can just work backwards to try and solve this. So the opposite of adding 4 is taking 4, so we can take 4 from both sides. So 8u plus 4 take 4 is just going to leave us with 8u. 52 take 4 is going to leave us with 48. Then we want to get rid of the 8, and it's 8 times u, so the opposite of that is to divide by 8. So we'll divide both sides by 8. So 8u divided by 8 is just going to give us 1u, so just u, and 48 divided by 8 is going to give us 6. So u equals 6. Remember, if we want to check our work, we can substitute it back into the original equation to make sure we got the right answer there. Okay, so we'll clear that one and we'll do B. So negative 2, 4u take 5 equals 34. Okay, so we're going to apply our distributive law and apply that -2 to everything inside the brackets. So -2 times 4u is going to be a negative number because negative times a positive is a negative. So -2 times 4 is going to give us -8u. So negative times a negative is a positive. So 2 times 5 is 10 equals 34. So again, we're going to use that onion method to try and get to our value of u. Oh, that's a terrible circle. So the last thing we did to the u was we added 10. So the opposite of adding 10 is subtracting 10. So we're going to subtract 10 from both sides. So -8u equals 24. So the -8 has been applied to both sides. So we're going to divide by -8. Divide by -8. So u equals, so a positive divided by a negative is going to give us a negative, and 24 divided by -8 is going to give us -3. That should be our answer there. So again, you can substitute that back in to check that you got the right answer. Clear? Okay, so we've got 2 more examples here to do. So these ones are a little bit more complex now, so we've got a few more steps involved. So for C, actually, I'll write down the bottom here. For C, we've got 4 multiplied by 5 plus 3w plus 5 equals 49. So we're just going to expand our brackets again as our first step. So 4, don't need that equal sign, have it. Okay, so 4 times 5 is 20. Plus 4 times 3 is 12w plus 5 equals 49. Now, we can collect like terms here because we've got 20 and we've got 5, and we can add those together using our distributive law, because remember, it doesn't matter what order you do your addition, you're still going to get the same answer. So we're going to do 20 plus 5. So now we've got 25 plus 12w equals 49, and then we can go on and solve for w. So w has been multiplied by 12 and it's had 25 added. Remember, we know the 25 was added because it's a positive number. If it was a negative number, it'd have a negative at the front. So the opposite of adding 25 is taking 25. So now we've got 12w equals, what's that going to give me? 24. And to get rid of the 12 is being, the w is being multiplied by the 12, so the opposite of multiplying by 12 is dividing by 12, so we're going to divide both sides by 12. So 12w divided by 12 is 1w, and 24 divided by 12 is going to give us 2. So our answer is w equals 2, and that would be our answer there for that one. Again, you could sub it back in and check that it's correct. And lucky last, this one's got quite a few steps. So we've got 3 being multiplied by 4s plus 3, take 3 equaling 3 being multiplied by 3s plus 5 plus 15. So we're going to expand the brackets first. So we're going to expand the brackets on both sides. So 3 times 4s, well 3 times 4 is 12, and it's 12s, plus 3 times 3 is 9, take 3 equals, so 3 times 3s, well 3 times 3 is 9s, plus 3 times 5 is 15, plus 15. Again, we've got some like terms there. Okay, so 12s, and we've got 9 take 3, so 9 take 3 is 6, so plus 6 equals 9s, plus 15 plus 15, so 15 plus 15 is 30. Now we've got variables on both sides of the equation, so that makes it hard to solve. So what we have to do is we have to get rid of the variables from one side and move them over to the other side so that we've only got variables on one side. So remember, it doesn't really matter which one you get rid of. I always get rid of the smaller one just so it's easier, so I don't have to deal with negative numbers. So I'm going to subtract 9s from both sides so that I've only got the variables on one side. Again, it doesn't matter if you want to subtract the 12s, still perfectly correct. It's just 2 different ways of working it out. So from both sides, I'm going to take 9s. Take 9s. Now, 12s and 9s are like terms, so we can subtract them. So 12s take 9s is going to leave us with 3s plus 6 equals 9s. Take 9s is going to give us 0, so we're just left with our 30. So now we can just go about our usual steps solving for s. So what's happened to s? Well, it was multiplied by 3 and then it had 6 added. So to work out our value of s, we're going to have to unpeel that onion. The first thing we're going to do, take 6 from both sides. So 3s plus 6 take 6 just leaves us with 3s equals 30 take 6 is going to leave us with 24. Now 3 is being multiplied by s, so the opposite of multiplying by 3 is dividing by 3. So we're going to divide both sides by 3, which will leave us s equals 24 divided by 3, which is 6. So again, you can substitute that s equals 6 back into your original equation and check that your working is right. So just when you're following this, I know my s's and my 5s look pretty similar, so just make sure you've watched this a few times and you know when I'm talking about s and when I'm talking about 5, because looking back now, my 15 does look a bit like an s. So just make sure you're listening as well as watching my writing there. So it's pretty simple. We're just combining a few ideas together in this video. So we've combined our expanding brackets, we've combined our like terms, and we've combined our variables on both sides of the equation. So it's all coming together as we're working our way up through the more difficult mathematical concepts. But if we follow those steps, it's actually quite straightforward. And as usual, if you do need help, make sure you come and ask. Make sure you have watched the video, tried the examples, come and ask in class if you need any help at all.